Say, hey, Facebook family and friends. So I've been working with some tremendous world-renowned, best in their field business and success coaches, and they've actually challenged me to share my story, and I have done that with some of you personally. I did do a couple of YouTube videos that I posted, but I was struggling because I have to tell you, I was thinking, I gotta push my chair back. I was thinking this morning when I woke up, I'm not telling the whole truth. I'm only telling part of the truth, and I'm protecting the wrong people and throwing the wrong people under the bus. And so I have to fix this because, first of all, I gotta be authentic and I gotta be truthful. And I think I was doing it for the right reasons, but I now know that nobody's gonna be served by me sharing my story in that way. So let me just back up. I always start my story by sharing the fact that there was this moment in time where I said that's enough, basically, and that I've been experiencing from all of my life this abuse and this financial stress and this, struggle, lack, and poverty, which is partially true. But the bigger picture is this: my parents both grew up in very abusive families, and they both come from very poverty-stricken families. And they did bring some of that forward to some degree, but I did tell you that my mom and my stepdad, Dan, I never really went without anything. I mean, we didn't have a lot, and we never owned a home, and we moved a lot, but I still had dance lessons, and I still had gymnastics, and I always had clothes, and I always had shoes, and I always had food. It was beans, but you know what? It wasn't bad. And so I don't want to say that that's part of the story because it's not the whole truth. The problem is I did have to go and spend that money that day and have to pull out my credit card, just like I said. That is true, and I did have a horrible feeling of struggle, angst, and a lack of that fear around not having enough money. That is all true. But the truth is, it was because I was with a man who was what I now know is something called gaslighting me. He controlled me economically, he controlled me financially, and we did have the money. He just wouldn't give it to me. And that had been the story of my life with him for many years. And the reason that I kept the story to myself was partially because I was protecting my children. My children are grown now, and by keeping this a secret, not only am I not helping them, but harming them more, because they need to, first of all, if they don't already know the real truth, which I do think they do in a lot of ways, they need to know the real truth, because I don't want this legacy to continue to get passed down. That's one thing. And secondly, I know that there's women out there who've been made to feel small, who've been told they're not valuable, that they're fat, that they let themselves go, that they're a drain, that they require too much money, that they want too much, that they're never satisfied, they're never happy. I know that there's women out there who are being told those kind of things and they believe it. They think it's true, they think it's their fault, and that was me. I thought it was all true and I thought it was my fault. I didn't see any point in ever leaving the relationship because I was gonna be unhappy anyway, and I was very scared of being poor and in poverty and having my kids in poverty. So that's where I really came from, and that's the true story. Moving forward, the story was that I found a business that has elements of network marketing, which everybody's afraid of, and I don't know why, because network marketing is the most amazing thing when the business is right and the product is right. It can be amazing. But it gave me the financial capabilities to support my daughters and my family when I found myself going through a divorce. It gave me the confidence to know that I was okay, that I wasn't miserable, that I wasn't unhappy, that I had value, and that I had something to add to the world, and I had a voice and I had something to say. And it gave me the confidence to be okay with going through a divorce, supporting my kids, and never having to worry about money because of that business. And that's the true story, and that's the one that really needs to be told. Because I don't want other women to stay in relationships that don't serve them, that are unhealthy. And I don't want my children, my daughters, to stay in relationships. And I don't want my grandchildren to have the legacy of that kind of way of being, when the truth is we are powerful beyond measure. We have more value than we can possibly imagine or believe, and we can do more with our lives. And I want that to be the legacy that I leave my children and my grandchildren. Not a half-truth. So I wanted to correct that and make sure that everybody knew the true truth around the situation. And if you're being gaslit and you're not sure, ask somebody, because I didn't know. I remember the first time somebody told me something about being gaslit, and they said, "Your husband did what?" And I was like, yeah. And she said to me, you know, that's not normal, right? I didn't know it wasn't normal. I didn't know it wasn't my fault. It was not okay to be treated that way. So I'm here to offer inspiration and hope for every woman out there, every person who's in a situation where they're being harmed physically, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. It's a thing. Give you hope that you are valuable, that you are meant for more, that you can do, have, or be anything you want, and that you can turn your life around, your children's life around. You can take control. And we as a community and people are here to support you and help you in any way that we can. All right, guys, thanks for listening and allowing me to correct my story. Mwah.